Welcome to the SKNAS Week in Review. In this edition, we recap significant activities of the government of St. Kitts and Nevis over the past week. Coming up, 4 bills passed in the federal parliament. Carnival Spirit makes inaugural visit to St. Kitts. Prime Minister Drew leads a delegation to Taiwan. And Jazara Claxton receives support from the Ministry of Sports. Those stories and more are next on this edition of the SKNAS Week in Review for the period November 4 to 10, 2022. Hello and welcome. The federal parliament continued to push forward with legislative amendments and updates when it met on Friday, November 4. 4 bills were successfully piloted through the National Assembly during the session. Junior Minister responsible for Gender Affairs, the Honorable Iselene Phillip, moved the Domestic Violence Amendment Bill 2022. Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, piloted the Companies Amendment Bill 2022, while Deputy Prime Minister and Minister responsible for Ecclesiastical and Faith-Based Affairs, the Honorable Dr. Jeffrey Hanley, moved the Evangelistic Faith Church Incorporation Bill 2022 through the Honorable House. The 4th bill that was passed during Friday's sit-in was the Small Business Development Amendment Bill 2022, moved by the Honorable Samal Duggins, Minister responsible for Small Business and Entrepreneurship. Still in Parliament, Friday's session was marked by a moment that clearly highlighted a new sense of cooperation and good governance within the august body and the country as a whole. Opposition Member of Parliament representing constituency number 5, the Honorable Sean Richards, seconded the second reading of the Evangelistic Faith Corporation St. Kitts Incorporation Bill.
It is not customary in this House to have a member of the opposition who stand and second the reading of a particular piece of legislation, Madam Speaker. But indeed, as a church coming from my constituency, as a church that I can speak to in terms of the impact, in terms of the person who lead the church, it gives me great pleasure, Madam Speaker, to second the reading of this particular piece of legislation and to wish it safe passage.
The Honorable Congress Maynard, leader of government business in the Parliament, said the moment was quite instructive.
Although I rose to second the first reading, I was about to rise to the second reading, and I saw that the member from number 5 had interest. That is how democracy is supposed to work, and good governance. And so we will continue to do that to show that we are serious about bringing our country together.
Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Terence Drew led a delegation of officials from the federal government and the Nevis Island Assembly on a 4-day state visit to the Republic of China, Taiwan. The state visit began on Monday. While there, the Prime Minister and his delegation, which included Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Right Honorable Dr. Denzil Douglas, and Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Mark Brantley, participated in several engagements designed to further strengthen the bonds of friendship between St. Kitts and Nevis and the Republic of China, Taiwan. At a state banquet on Tuesday, Prime Minister Drew hailed the 39 years of excellent relations between the two countries. While the Prime Minister and his delegation traveled to Taiwan, locals were able to participate in the 3-day Taiwan Expo 2022 held at the St. Kitts Marriott Resort. 26 Taiwanese companies and 8 local businesses were featured at the expo, which began on Saturday, November 5. Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Jeffrey Hanley, commended these types of engagements.
So I want to commend our local entrepreneurs and our innovators to ask them to continue to jump out of the box. On behalf of the government, I want to wish Ambassador, you and your entire country and your staff here the very best, and thank you for all that you have done and continue to do and will be doing going forward for our federation.
Tourism stakeholders convened at Park Hyatt on Wednesday for the State of Industry event organized by the St. Kitts Tourism Authority. Attendees heard various presentations that covered the current state of the industry, identifying travel trends, and a showcase of the recently launched Venture Deeper brand campaign. A panel of local and international experts from various sectors also shared insights and provided guidance for further development of the brand campaign. Minister of Tourism, the Honorable Marsha Henderson, said that the Venture Deeper campaign seeks to capitalize on current market trends.
Our guests seek more immersive experiences that allow them to leave with a piece of St. Kitts. Our goal, therefore, is to Kittitianize our visitors. We need to recognize and acknowledge this trend and use it to our advantage by allowing our authentic Kittitian experience, history, culture to headline our experiential tours and dialogues, allowing therefore impactful, genuine, and distinct visitor experiences.
The Carnival Spirit made its maiden voyage to St. Kitts on Wednesday as cruise tourism gains steam in the coming weeks and months. At a brief ceremony at Port Zante, Minister of Tourism, the Honorable Marsha Henderson, welcomed the captain and crew and of course the passengers to our shores, noting that cruising is rebounding with a bang.
I am excited. For November alone, we have 7 inaugural calls. This call today is the Carnival Spirit. The ship has a passenger capacity of just over 2,500 persons, and we have at least 3 calls for Carnival Spirit this season, giving us a projected passenger capacity of just over 7,600. And so we're excited, coming off of the pandemic. Persons hadn't worked for the last 2 years, and so the more inaugural calls we have, the better it is for us as an economy.
A team of 30 persons from the Royal St. Christopher and the Nevis Police Force and the St. Kitts and Nevis Fire and Rescue Services completed 3 months of training in first response medical emergency care. The participants received their certificates on Monday, signaling their ability to provide basic first responder care in various areas such as establishing and maintaining airways, CPR, hemorrhage control, immobilizing fractures, and more. Garfield Hodge is the acting chief fire officer.
As entities within national security, particularly the Fire and Rescue Services, our mandate is to protect and safeguard life and property from the dangers and effects of fires and explosion. This course, however, has broadened our capacity to respond to emergencies that require initial medical attention. As such, we are now in a better position to deliver more effective and efficient response to emergencies.
And finally, the Ministry of Sports made a financial contribution to Jazara Claxton through her parents that will be used to develop her sporting skill further and to help offset expenses while she is away as a member of the West Indies Under-19 female cricket team. Minister of Sports, the Honorable Samal Duggins, presented the contribution to Jazara's mother, Icott Francis, and father, Frank Claxton, during a brief ceremony on Wednesday at the Minister's office.
We see a very talented young woman in Jazara, and we are happy to support that talent, financially and otherwise, from a national level. And as Minister of Sports, I just want to congratulate the parents and Jazara personally for the hard work and talent that she has displayed as a national athlete in both sporting endeavors.
That's all for this edition of the SKNIS Week in Review. For more information on these and other stories, visit us at sknis.gov.kn. I'm Ian Richards.